A world of spirits and monsters, people can unleash their soul potential to awaken various superpowers. They are strong enough to kill demons and destroy everything around them. The awakened are collectively called heroes. In today's news, a guy driving a car killed a roadside melon vendor. The authorities have intervened to investigate the case. Grandmaster Moth challenged the Undead King during a live broadcast and was defeated by his opponent in one move. In an interview afterwards, Grandmaster Ma claimed that the opposing side did not talk about generic martial arts and attacked in a sneak attack. The incident of the attack on a needle store was investigated. The perpetrator turned out to be the evil spirit of Wu. The accused has already been detained. Television towers broadcast from every corner in this city. A young man who just woke up in a dumpster, his name was Lin. The other hitmen are invincible from the start, they have no equal. And he's just a talentless guy with no talent whatsoever. Just a scum who got killed and thrown in the trash. He's been handsome most of his life, but he's suddenly been displaced into such a shameful image. If he finds out who the murderer is, he will surely kill him, angrily shouted the man who had just climbed out of the dumpster and was all dirty. As soon as he got out, he heard some strange noises. Could it be that the level of development of people in the other world is so low? But then again, when did this guy show up? He asked himself when he saw a man standing with his back to him in a back alley, relieving himself. When he turned around, he had an unnatural arrangement of eyes and a very large tongue. Lin was very frightened when he saw this monster. This monster, with the words, "Let him help the boy check his body," pounced on him with his mouth open and wanted to eat him. The boy had nowhere to run because it was a dead end. When this monster came even closer, its mouth opened into 4 pieces. It looked very horrible. The boy started screaming for help because there was nothing he could do by himself. The boy had already resigned himself to death and closed his eyes. When he closed his eyes, he heard a strange sound. It sounded like someone had come to help him. He opened his eyes and saw that the monster was disappearing. Then he saw a beautiful, slender girl dressed all in red and with a red umbrella. Her weapon was a huge pair of scissors. The boy thanked her for saving him. Then this girl came up close to him and asked him, "Was she beautiful?" The boy was very confused. "Are all the girls in this world so initiated?" Then the boy replied that she was gorgeous. But how the boy was even more frightened when her eyes became red and her mouth became wide and her fangs were visible. He thought she was a beautiful heroine who had come to his rescue, and yet he almost fell in love with her. The girl snuggled up to him and licked his face, and asked again if she was pretty. The boy thought he was about to die. But the feeling when she touched him with her breasts was unreal, amazing. But now was not the time to think about it. It was more important to stay alive. If he said beautiful, she would slit his throat for sure. If he said ugly, and she would kill him right away. What should he choose? While he was thinking, the girl had already moved on to action. Since he didn't say anything, she would have to answer for him. The boy had already squeezed his eyes shut and prepared to die. But suddenly time stopped, and the boy had a plate with possible future developments. He had 3 possible answers. To run away immediately, to get down on his knees and beg for mercy and grant any request of this girl, and the third option was if he did not die under the lips of the beautiful girl, he could die without regret. Since the boy had a lot of experience with computer games, he thought the best choice would be to choose the third option. Then time resumed and he kissed the girl right on the lips. After the kiss, she went back to normal. He didn't expect her to be so sweet. When a female demon appears before you, you must use your love to warn her. Out of embarrassment, the girl walked away and said her name was Han Yi and she would definitely come back. When the girl disappeared, the boy had to shout out a lottery chant, "May thunder smash all darkness," to be rewarded for kissing the girl and to gain a randomly selected SSS class superpower. As he shouted these words, lightning struck him from the sky. Other people who were in that city saw a beam of light coming down from the sky and began to film what was happening. People who knew what it was also saw it. In fact, there is someone who has awakened S-class or higher special abilities. As far as she knew, only one person in town had reached S-class. Who was it this time? Maybe it was the descendant of that guy. The girl thought as she watched the beam of light that had just disappeared. At this time, the boy got a new achievement. He got an SSS class ability, Chiyu. The carrier's strength is weak. Chiyu's SSS class ability can supplement the carrier's strength. It will also be possible to gradually unlock other parts of the ability as well. According to this body's memories, the limit of strength in this world S-class, and he also awakened S-class. In that case, he thought he would become invincible. He was sure he could become the boss by climbing to the top of this world. Just thinking about it gave him goosebumps. Suddenly, he sensed danger. A demon appeared nearby. Since he was still weak, he had better not get into trouble. Escape was also a kind of victory. After running for half an hour without stopping, Lin Chia finally reached home. When he saw his mansion, he was pleasantly surprised. It was the first time he was in such a mansion, and he was a little nervous. But he needed to calm down, because his loved ones should be inside. When he opened the door, he saw his sister Hu, waiting for him with her toy. She asked him what was taking him so long. And why did he have wounds on his body? Yes, he also has a little sister named Lin Shi. The boy replied that he was fine, he just slipped because of the rain. There was no cause for concern. Then Sis called him in to drink the ginger root tea she had brewed especially for him. After making sure her little brother was okay, she went to her bed. It was good news for the boy that he had such a sister. Remembering that he was a child who had been adopted by Lin's family. After his adoptive parents died, he lived with his older sister Lin Hua and his younger sister Lin Si. Both sisters are endowed with incredible intelligence and talent to get out in the world. Only he turned out to be trash, having only received sarcastic taunts from people all his life. 3 years ago Lin Hua was chosen to be in the superpowers department because of his busyness. His sister is usually rarely home, so it fell to him to take care of his little sister. What a pity that the last one was completely unreliable, could not even take care of himself, and was indifferent to the feelings of the little sister. Such a good little sister, the last one, he really didn't care for her. Suddenly, someone called him, so unexpectedly that Liang Chia even choked on his tea. Who dared to break in and scare him while he was drinking tea? When he turned around, he saw his classmate and childhood friend Chu Junyao. He didn't understand why she came, so he asked her why she was here. The girl told him angrily, how did he have the nerve to come home? This morning, he confessed his love to her in front of the whole class over the loudspeaker. And in doing so, he embarrassed her. And now she's demanding an explanation. To get out of this situation, he told her that he was only fooling around, he would never fall in love with a bitch like her. He didn't need her for nothing. After saying that, she got very angry with him, so she wanted to kick him, but the boy dodged her. Since she was wearing a skirt, he even saw her panties. This made her spill even more, because he could see her underwear. But the boy didn't even think about it. And besides, she was the one who made such a clean and honest young man look there, and after that she wasn't ashamed? The boy demanded an apology from her. After these words, the girl was finally spilled, and took a fighting stance to avenge herself. But his little sister stood up for his little brother. She told her not to make a fuss around here, and to stay away from her little brother. Then the girl calmed down and told the boy that tomorrow was a day of aptitude testing. Only students with an S grade ability or higher are eligible to enter Chanlon Academy. She had already awakened an A-class ability long ago, having secured a place at the academy in advance. All avenues are open to the likes of her. As for him, he will remain at the bottom and will only be able to enter a third-rate university and be like an ordinary person. The boy had the task again, to choose an answer out of 3 options. To remain silent, to apologize to Chu Junio, or to disagree with her and swear that at all costs to awaken the ability. There was a certain reward for each of the answers. Although the second reward was quite better, he still wouldn't agree. He chose the third option. He shouted out to her that not only would he get the ability, but he would also enroll in the Chanlon Academy. The girl didn't take his words seriously. Anyone can throw words around, but real powers are what's important. She said everything, then let him do what he wants. Lan Chia was supported by his little sister and said that he would definitely try his ability. When the boy was already asleep, the girl he had kissed earlier came to him. Since he had stolen her first kiss, now he would have to take responsibility for it. The next morning, Lin Chia was late for school. His little sister was seeing him off, and he promised that he would pass the aptitude test. As he ran to school, he recalled how yesterday, he dreamt that he slept with that demoness. How strange, the dream was so realistic, as if it were real. Here it was already at school, the aptitude test was starting. All the participants were asked to go to the platform in order. In the crowd of students, Lin Chia was making his way through his peers to get to the exam. And in the crowd, he bumped into some white-haired guy. It was Yang Xiao. He liked Chu Junio too, they were sort of rivals. He was probably the one who had sent those guys to him. He wouldn't get away with it. The aptitude test is about to begin, the curator announced. Today's exam will determine your future. Only students with S-grade ability and above can enter Chanlon Academy. The first examinee is Wan Xiaoming. The boy, when he entered the arena, was very afraid not to embarrass himself. He went to the magic ball and used his ability. But unfortunately, his powers were not enough. The next student didn't pass either, and neither did the next one, until it was Yang Zhao's turn. When he applied his ability on the magic ball, he showed that his strength reached A grade. But that was Yang Xiao. No wonder he awakened an A-class ability. Chu Junyao didn't think this guy would raise his strength and conduct an A-class ability. Lin Chia was next. It was time to prove himself. He encouraged himself as he walked onto the stage. Everyone present laughed at him as they thought he was garbage. No one believed in his ability and thought he would be the worst of the people in the exam. When he applied his ability to a magic ball, everyone was surprised at the result. He had FFF grade powers. Even the examiner didn't know where to apply such an ability. He tried his best, but he didn't think he would be trampled into the dirt. And then he felt the touch of gentle hands. It was the demoness Hong Yi. She had come here to give him a helping hand. Suddenly, everyone in the hall saw that Lin Chia's ability potential was growing, also at such a high speed. Everyone was surprised at this development. This is a brand new record, S-grade ability potential, shouted out the examiner, if he was not mistaken. Holders of S-class ability potential, with proper training effort, can reach A-class and above. His opponent Yang Xiao could never believe that this had happened. He was more counting on Lian Xie cheating. Although he has FFF class abilities, but he has a 1 in a million S-class potential, so we can consider him to have passed, the examiner announced. Lian Qiuyue was unrealistically happy, and shouted that he would become the strongest in the future. 10 minutes later, in the waiting place for the second stage of the exam, Yang Xiao walked up to Lin Xie. With an over-measured expression on his face, he told him that scum always remains scum, even with the potential he won't stop being scum. There is still the second stage of the exam, and he won't have a chance. Lin Xie mockingly replied that he was just jealous of his strength. Not holding back his emotions, Yang Xiao took his opponent by the shirt and shouted rudely that he wouldn't be jealous of a trash like him. If he really has any power, let him show him. So once again, time stood still and Lin Xie again had a choice of responses. Ignore him, hit him, or settle things amicably. The boy did not hesitate to choose the second option and punched him in the nose as hard as he could. If he was asked to hit him, how could he ignore this request? Standing up, Yang Xiao said that even his father had never hit him, and how dare he raise his hand against him. By this time a girl came up to them. She had a chevron with the Tenchi emblem on her arm. She said that the second phase would begin soon. The students who passed must follow her to the second stage of the exam. They were taken across the mountain road, the suburb of Senglan. Already on the bus, the girl introduced herself. Her name was Su Tang, a senior student at Senglan Academy, who was also their examiner. The second stage of the exam is extremely important. Those who pass will be able to enter the Qianlan Academy immediately. Those who pass next will become official students, so they should try their best. As they approached the tunnel, bats flew out and crashed into the windshield of the bus. The driver who was driving didn't manage to steer and the bus flipped over. When Lin Xie got out of the bus, he didn't understand why the bus flipped over. But when he saw so many critters he wondered, because they hadn't yet reached the exam site, then why would there be monsters here? Su Tang ordered all the students stay together, and her subordinates to kill all the creatures. The angry Yang Xiao, who had just gotten off the bus, wanted to kill Lin Xie. He caught one of the bats and threw it at Lin Xie. The boy dodged such an attack from his opponent, and then Yang Xiao already wanted to use his ability, but examiner Su Tang had already dealt with all the monsters, so they could no longer hold the duel. But then an earthquake began and chains flew out of the ground, which grabbed all the participants in the exam.